Have you ever stopped to think about what you can learn about a place just from its website? That's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to be digital detectives, basically. The mission? To build a full picture of a university using only the clues we can find online. Let's see what we can dig up. Okay, so our target is the University of Makran and Panjgur. Think of us as, I don't know, digital archaeologists for a minute. We're sifting through its online presence to figure out, well, everything. Its structure, what student life is like, what kind of resources it has. We're starting from scratch here, just piecing it all together from the digital breadcrumbs they've left behind. All right, first things first. The name itself. The University of Makran, Panjgur, or UoMP for short. Every good investigation has to start somewhere, right? And this is our starting block. Okay, so first question, who's running the show? I mean, if you want to understand any organization, you gotta start at the top, right? Let's see what the website tells us about who's in charge. Okay, so right away, this is super interesting. We've got a Vice-Chancellor, Prof Dr. Mumtaz Baloch, and a Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Mir Sadaat Baloch. And yeah, those are pretty standard roles you'd expect to see. But look at that top name, Sheikh Jaffar Khan Mandokhail, the Governor of Balochistan. That one little detail, it tells us something huge. This isn't a private institution. This is a public university, and it's tied directly to the provincial government, a really important clue right off the bat. All right, so we've got a handle on the leadership. But let's be real, a university is all about its students, right? So what's it actually like to be a student at UoMP? Time to go hunting for some clues on the website. So the first thing we stumble on is this pattern with admissions. We see announcements for a spring 2023 batch and then also a spring 2026 session. Now, this isn't just random dates. This suggests a regular, recurring academic calendar. And that's a big deal. It's a clear sign this is a functioning institution that's actually planning ahead. And, it's not all about hitting the books. The website actually highlights a specific event, a talk by an Islamic scholar, Mufti Muhammad Asif. Think about it. That's more than just a date on a calendar. It's a little window into the cultural and intellectual life happening on campus. It gives us a real feel for the kinds of events students might be part of. And as we keep digging, we find these two little nuggets of information: lab classes and winners. Now, they're super brief, but they tell us a lot. Lab classes obviously points to some hands-on practical learning, and the mention of winners, that tells me that they're celebrating student achievements. So right there, in just a few words, we're seeing hints of both tough academic work and a culture of recognition. Pretty cool. Okay, so we know who's in charge, and we're starting to get a picture of student life. But what about the actual stuff? The tools, the facilities, the resources that make it all happen. Let's see what UoMP offers. And boom, the website calls out two key facilities. First, a computer lab. I mean, that's pretty much essential for any modern university, right? But then there's this, a Botany Lab. Now that's specific. This strongly suggests the university has a real focus on the sciences, maybe even fields that are super relevant to the local environment. So these aren't just rooms, they're hubs for learning and discovery. And get this, the website lays out a whole directory of different resources. For students, you've got things like scholarships and a digital library. To keep things transparent, there's an annual report. But honestly, the most revealing thing here might be the link to a business plan. I mean, come on, that's a serious strategic document. It signals they have a clear vision for where they want to go, for how they want to grow. So, let's take a step back. After this whole digital deep dive, what have we actually figured out? We started with just a name, literally just a name. And now, by piecing together all these little fragments, a surprisingly clear picture is starting to form. So based only on the evidence from its website, here's the definition we can put together. The University of Makran Panjgur is an emerging public university in Balochistan. We know it has a clear leadership team that's connected to the government. We know it has a regular cycle of admitting students. And we know it's actively building out its resources, especially in science and digital tech, to support its whole community. That's a pretty detailed picture. So I guess the big takeaway here is this. We took all these scattered bits of data, a name from a leadership page, an admissions notice, a mention of a single lab, and we wove them together into a coherent story. And it's a story of a university that's really building its foundations, brick by digital brick, for its students and faculty. It just goes to show how much you can learn if you just look closely. So there you have it. We've just painted a pretty clear portrait of an entire university. just from its digital reflection. And that kind of leaves you with one final thought, doesn't it? If someone were to do the same thing with your digital footprint, what story would it tell?